The Rona Canada Day weekend kickoff wraps up this evening. It's the Montreal Alouettes and the Calgary Stampeders on Canada Day. And whether you're watching in New Brunswick or in Nunavut, we hope your Canada Day has been a good one. Sensational weather right now. We do have some rain showers in the forecast, but so far so good. A glorious day for football here in Southern Alberta.
He led all passers in 2011 in the Canadian Football League. Anthony Calvillo is 39 years old, starting in his 254th game in the Canadian Football League here tonight. 250 behind him is Drew Tate. Finished the last year's season, starting the last 3 games of the regular season, but this will be his first full year at the helm.
Now the 2 senior men in the CFL in the coaching department. There's John Hufnagel, who since 2008, 47, 24, and 1. And like his adversary Mark Trestman in reload mode, Trestman is 48 and 24 since coming into the league, but trying to bounce back after not going to the Grey Cup for the first time in 4 years. Last November, Trent Guy is back. Willie Paredes kicks it off. We're underway on Canada Day in Calgary, and this is Noel Devine with the return, and he'll be taken down right at the 20-yard line. Good downfield cover by the Calgary Stampeders, led by Ken Petway.
Well, he told you about the leading passer in the Canadian Football League. That was Anthony Calvillo. They also had the #1 running back in Brandon Whitaker. He's in the backfield again behind Calvillo here tonight. They had the #1 receiver in the league as well, and Jamel Richardson. 1,777 yards for Richardson a year ago, and one of the top tackles in the Canadian Football League will start once again at that left tackle spot in Josh Bird.
Coming off his 6th 5,000-yard rushing or passing season, Anthony Calvillo hands it off for the first time up against a Calgary defense led by Jawan Simpson at the middle linebacker spot.
Yes, he is, and he is highlighted for us. Also, Charleston Hughes, the starting defensive end who led the team in sacks a year ago with 7. He is back in that defense for the Calgary Stampeders. You mentioned Jawan Simpson in the middle, and we also have one change in the secondary. Well, a couple of changes in the secondary, starting at safety with Keenan McDougall.
No gain on the play, so 2nd and 10 for Calvillo with a flag down, and he overthrows the intended target, looking for the leading receiver, Jamel Richardson. Richardson with 112 catches, 1,777 yards last year, looking for a flag on the first pass his way this year.
Offside, Montreal number 19. That penalty's declined. 3rd down.
Well, as Glenn Johnson makes that call, and will be our head official here tonight, we want to say a special hello and get well soon to Andre Proulx, who was taken off the field in Edmonton yesterday and had a mild heart attack. He's recovering in Edmonton Hospital. I know he's watching and be flying back home on Friday. So we wish you well on behalf of everyone at TSN, the CFL. Hope Andre Proulx gets back soon.
There's Larry Taylor, the former Alouette. Sean White with pressure off the side of his foot. And look at the terrific field position that Drew Tate and the Stamps will get after a 28-yard punt by Sean White. So we begin a new era for the Calgary Stampeders. For the first time in 7 years, no Henry Burris or Joffrey Reynolds. Kenyon Rambo is gone, and Drew Tate is at the controls with John Cornish, the feature back.
Yeah, he takes the reins there. There's John Cornish, Canadian, playing on Canada Day. And then in that receiving goal, you mentioned Kenyon Rambo out, Landon Talley in.
First pass is caught by Nick Lewis along the sideline. Short gain for Lewis, a personal best last year, 93 catches.
Will be a lot of familiar faces in the receiving corps for the Calgary Stampeders. Nick Lewis is back, Robbie Bryant is back, Johnny Forzani is back, but there is that change we talked about. Landon Talley playing in there for Kenyon Rambo. And the offensive line, big change at that left tackle. Edwin Harrison out with a hamstring injury. And Sean Goddard will play at that left tackle spot.
2nd and 8. Will pump and a release underneath, and there is John Cornish inside the 40-yard line, and should be enough for a first down. He combined for 1,248 yards last year, running and catching the football.
Well, John Cornish does a nice job of both, and this time he's right in behind Drew Tate in the shotgun position, checks for blitz. That's why he hesitated at the line of scrimmage. No blitz coming from Montreal. He sneaks out of the backfield and becomes a target.
First down, Stampeders at the Montreal 38-yard line, and here's Cornish's first carry of the year. Fifth in rushing, and he gets bumped out by a Canadian middle linebacker. A couple of BC boys on a collision course. Shea Emery in on the stop.
Well, 3 big changes, big names added to the Montreal defense, and they hope that will improve their defense from a year ago. One is Aaron Hunt, former BC Lion. How about Rod Davis in the linebacking core besides Shea Emery, who you mentioned, Chris, from the Edmonton Eskimos. Rod Davis, and remember Kyrie Sebert? Former Ottawa Renegade back in 2005-2006. He is back in the CFL, starting at safety.
Starting lineups brought to you by Roda, proud partner of the CFL and its 8 teams. Again, it's Cornish inside, trying to get to the inside the 30. Helmet dislodged, and he'll be short of the first down. And John Hufnagel not delaying the field goal unit coming out, as it'll be third and at least 2 and maybe 3 yards. So here's Rennie Paredes, who earned the job last year after Rob Maver went 1 for 4 in the opener. Calgary losing to Toronto. Paredes came in his first field goal last year, a 50-yarder. This one from 38 is through, and the Stampeders strike first on their opening possession.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you by Nissan. Innovation that excites.
Mentioned in the starting lineups that Eric Fraser is out due to injury, so the Calgary Stampeders will start with Keenan McDougall out of the U of S. 3rd round, 15th overall draft pick by the Calgary Stampeders, and he gets a start.
Against the best. There's a completion into the flat to Brandon London, who takes over from Kerry Watkins, who retired after a distinguished career with the Alouettes.
Yeah, that's something, and that's why I wanted to point it out early to see if Anthony Calvillo may try and go after Keenan McDougall at the safety spot. It's a little difficult to do it, more difficult than if he was a halfback or a corner, because you're not going to get the one-on-one type of matchup you want, but there are a couple of ways to test out the young safety, and right now he's about 20 yards off the football, making sure he's nice and safe back there.
Short yardage team comes in for Montreal on 2nd and 3. Ryan Bombin is a tight end, and so too is rookie fullback Patrick Lavoie. The handoff inside, and Brandon Whitaker is stacked up. And at the bottom of the pile, Torrey Davis with a big stop. Little forced 3rd down.
That spot puts it pretty close to that 1st down marker, and I'm wondering if Mark Trestman will, in his own end of the field, decide on an early gamble here if they are short.
Chains come out, so he gets a little time to deliberate on what looks like a full yard. So what do you do, Coach? 3rd and 1 early in the game.
Inside of a yard, I think you go for it. Even if you're here, you have to have confidence in your O-line and in your defense if they don't get it. I know how important field position, Chris, is, but you know, I think you have to have confidence in your team, and that's a veteran O-line up there.
That was my point. What a strength for the Alouettes. And you wonder if people have overlooked this team in all the preseason prognostications with such a veteran group. Adrian McPherson now, a little confusion here, and he may have to hustle. 3rd and a yard behind Scott Flory. Good surge, flag down, and he looked like he broke the plane of the 45, which would be enough for a 1st down.
Yeah, it looked like his forward progress got there. That flag is often offside defense, as they try and anticipate the snap.
Offside. Calgary number 90. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Chris McCoy at defensive end offside, so it is a first down, and Calvillo will check back in to run the Alouette offense.
Yeah, and this wasn't McCoy trying to anticipate the snap count and jumped. He was actually lined up in the neutral zone, his full head and shoulders inside that 1-yard restraining area.
Alouettes the highest scoring team last year, 515 points. Here's the pitch to the wide side, and Whitaker is tripped up as he approached midfield. Good tackle on the play by the newcomer at corner, Fred Bennett.
Let me show you a couple of ways that Anthony Calvillo in his 19th season may be able to test Keenan McDougall at safety. Look how deep he is right here. There's a couple of ways. One is you can run a couple of seams and see if you can get him trying to guess one way or the other. The second way is an over and an under, and see if that young safety will jump the under one, and then Anthony Calvillo throw it over top. Those are a couple of ways to try and test the new safety.
Rookie Duron Mayo checks in the Calgary defense, 2nd and 5 Alouettes. Calvillo getting that complete. Ball loose. Richardson fumbled. It's picked off. And this is the kid, the rookie, Keenan McDougall. Welcome to the CFL. Touchdown.
Boy, will this give the young safety a ton of confidence to make a big play and contribute in this way for his football team this early. Confidence should be sky high. Lines up nice and deep, flows to the football. It's stripped there by Jawan Simpson. And the young safety from the UFS takes it the distance.
Scoop and Score did not play last year because of an injury. Making up for lost time here, and one of the best players in the CFL puts it on the carpet.
Is under review by the command center.
All scoring plays will be reviewed, so that's why this one is, the officials will take a look at this one. I thought it was a fumble. He's lost control before that left knee touches the ground, but they will look at it anyway.
Jawan Simpson trying to dislodge it, and it is close. It, on first view, didn't look it, but so 2 questions. Did he have control? And it looked like he had taken a few steps with it, and was it out?
Lost it there.
Command center has confirmed a score.
And it didn't take long for Jake Ireland to put a stamp of approval on the touchdown by Keenan McDougall.
That's it, baby.
Well, that'll change your rookie status in a hurry, won't it?
Well, I tell you what, you're a rookie until you help the team win, and you contribute to the football team with big plays, and then every one of those veterans turns to you and say, okay, you're on, son.
Saskatoon product's going to remember this Canada Day. Youngest player on the Stampeders roster, McDougall, scoring, and thanks in large part to the veteran middle linebacker,
who was in a battle in training camp with Joe Lobendon and Robert McCune, but he won the job, and Jawan Simpson with that right arm punch from behind pops the ball out of there on Jamel Richardson. That's a great tackle from behind to swing that right arm and punch for the football. Creates a turnover, and young Keenan McDougall has his first big play as a CFL football player.
63-yard touchdown return, and the big kickoff sends Devine back. He'll come out of the end zone and is stopped at the 10. There is a flag down, and it's in the area that would suggest the Stampeders may have been offside on the kickoff.
It was a 77-yard kickoff. First down, Montreal.
So Glenn Johnson has to sort things out.
Big cheer for Grace, our Rainbow Flames kickoff kid. If you want to give your child a once-in-a-lifetime on-field experience, visit country105.com to find out how your child.
Offside. Montreal, number 21. That penalty's declined. First down.
Well, it's against Montreal. Wapamo Osaisai was offside, and this sputtering start for the Alouettes, a team that we are used to seeing come out of the gate quickly.
Well, they certainly do. A team that often doesn't lose until somewhere around Labor Day. Comes out of the gate quick. I remember a couple years back, right here in Calgary, they opened up the season with their first 2 series, 2 touchdowns.
Have you ever seen a receiving team offside on a kickoff? It's a first.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. Mark Trestman not in good field position for his offense to start this drive either.
Ball on the 11-yard line. They give it inside, and Whitaker has 4 to 5 yards. Brandon Whitaker with 1381 last year to lead the CFL in rushing.
19 seasons, I mentioned 254 start for Anthony Calvillo, and he is not on the decline as most people have thought, or at least waited to see, when you see 5,251 yards. And look at the touchdown interception ratio, still not making the big mistake throwing the football. And still the guy that transcends the locker room, according to Mark Trestman, that's in there every day after 19 years at 5 a.m. before the coaches, preparing himself for the season. Now, can he get this offense out of this hole?
Under Mark Trestman in 4 years, Anthony Calvillo has averaged 312 yards per game on opening day, with 10 touchdowns in those 4 games, 10 touchdown passes. So he has been a fast starter. I think there was a clock issue. Glenn Johnson was at the timers table, but I think we're ready to go. Whitaker got 5, so it's 2nd and 5. Calvillo throws inside, knocked down. The intended target was Sean Green, or S.J. Green.
Yes, and Quincy Butler, the newcomer at halfback, well, not completely new to the Calgary Stampeders. He was in the last 2 games of the regular season last year. Look at the coverage, blanket coverage on S.J. Green, as that secondary new on one side, including their safety, as we mentioned, Keenan McDougall, but Quincy Butler and Fred Bennett on one side, and then veterans on the other, and Brandon Smith and Keon Raymond.
White again to punt into a breeze here in the opening quarter. Larry Taylor waiting at about midfield. And it's Taylor at his 54. He ran into his teammate Bennett. Flags fly. And we'll sort out the penalty when we come back with the Stamps up by 10.
My parents are at this game, and you know, I think it's going to be pretty cool to be a Canadian. And you know, I came up to Canada to play in the CFL specifically because I wanted to be in my home. I mean, this is Canada, and I love the country.
Pride of New Westminster, BC, who played his college football at Kansas, where he set school records. Holding call against Calgary, and there is a completion into Montreal territory once again, as Robbie Bryant has his first catch in 2012.
Proud Canadian, and a guy that if he gets enough touches could go after that rushing title, and that's what he tweeted before the game. Playing a game in the greatest country on its birthday doesn't get much better than this. And I would agree.
There's Rob Cote. The only running backs in the Calgary lineup today are all from Canada. Cote, St. Pierre, Matt Walter, and John Cornish. First down inside the 40. And again, that helmet pops loose. Only Orville Lee and Normie Kwong have won the rushing title as Canadians, and there's a lot of us that think John Cornish has a pretty good shot this year.
If he gets enough touches, I think he does have a great shot because of that great rushing average he's had. I mean, coming in last year, he had a 7.3-yard rushing average when he touched the football.
Took about a third of the reps until he finished the season. 7 games as a starter. Back into his hands. Trying to slice through that left side. Ball popped loose. Montreal said they had the football, but looked like it was blown down.
Show you that average when you compare it to the rest of the running backs. There's Corey Boyd in Toronto, 6.1. Brandon Whitaker, who we're watching here this evening. Chris Garrett in Winnipeg at 6.3, the closest. Anytime running back in any league is getting 7.3 a crack, that's almost unheard of.
2nd and 5. Short drop. Looks inside. The money man is Nick Lewis. And Drew Tate's on the money so far.
What a throw. I mean, a couple of these from Drew Tate, as he does not have a very big window. Now, he's got a big target because that slot back in Nick Lewis, the veteran of 9 years, came into camp at 240 pounds. Now, he can carry that 240, but look at that throw through the tiny window. 2 Montreal Alouette defenders right there, and he got it there.
Tate 4 for 4 out of the gate, 37 yards. Fakes to Cornish, steps it off. Here's Rob Cote, and he's bumped out by Seth Williams at the 9. It's another Stampeder first down. 14 for Cote, who became a receiving weapon last year for Dave Dickinson with 15 catches.
He's going to line up as a tight end here at the left side of the formation for the Calgary Stampeders. Like the call, they've got some success with John Cornish in the run game, so they fake it to Cornish, have Cote come out from that tight end spot and float one over. There's the offensive coordinator making a nice play call. Dave Dickinson.
1st and goal. Yes. Get past to Lewis. He'll get dragged down inside the 5. Got a theory on why he's 240.
Okay.
He's the first player I've ever seen who had his own tailgate party prior to the game. Nick Lewis Nation tailgate party here at McMahon. Although I'm not sure he was there for most of it.
MOP nominee last year, Nick Lewis, over 1,200 yards receiving. And when I say 240, he's an athletic 240. He's not a commentator 240. There's a big difference there.
He's a high hurdling 240.
Commentator 240 is pear-shaped.
Handoff. Cornish, touchdown. A couple of Canadians have hit pay dirt in the opening quarter of Canada Day at McMahon.
I think John Cornish, with his eyes up, saw this and was in the end zone, saw the big boys up front open up that left side of the offensive line, and he knew he was in the end zone. He gets clipped as he's going across the line, but pretty good blocking up front.
Well, it's an early stampede here in Calgary. 7 plays, 66 yards, and an offensive touchdown.
No fucking Aaron. Oh, put some Aaron in.
Boy, John Cornish wasn't the only one who knew early that this was a score for the Calgary Stampeders. Watch Drew Tate's reaction. He gives the ball to Cornish here. His hands are in the air there. Cornish is still about the 3 or 4 yard line, and Drew Tate is saying, no, that's a touchdown. I could tell by the blocking up front, and boy, was that blocking excellent. Little help from fullback Rob Cote. Nashawn Goddard in there at left tackle for Edwin Harrison, who is hurt. The starting left tackle is Harrison. But Goddard's got a chance to play, and he opened up that left side nicely.
Alouettes have to retilt this field against Devine. Up to the 30, but they have not been much beyond that so far in this first quarter.
Let's show you some of that blocking up front. Here's Goddard here. He's going to down block, and that tight end, Rob Cote, fullback, but moves up to the tight end spot. They're both going to down block to their right, take their man, open up the gate, and that's where Cornish sees pay dirt, and you can tell Drew Tate behind him, hands in the air, well before Cornish crosses the line. The offensive line getting coached up, a good-looking group. Demetrius Supis up there.
Mike Gibson, the new offensive line coach, stepped underneath by Calvillo, and nothing doing here. Brandon London taken down by Mr. Versatility. Keon Raymond now at the corner, and he's played just about every spot in that Calgary defense, but nose tackle.
But because of that versatility, he has earned the right to get this starting spot, and it'll be on the short side corner. That's the short side of the field. The hot side, it's the quicker throw, and they want their best corner over there, and that's Keon Raymond this year.
2nd and 7. Owls need a first down. Dalvio slinging. Delorier has and then dislodged as Fred Bennett lowered the boom, and Delorier couldn't hang on when it looked like he had a catch and a first down in Stampeder territory.
Well, 2 game-changing plays so far early in this one. One when Jamel Richardson fumbled the ball that went for a touchdown, and now Delorier down the seam. If he secures this, this is an important play for the Montreal Alouettes because it gets him some field position back. But a good hit by Fred Bennett, and timing was perfect. He made the team in Calgary with a great preseason game against Edmonton.
Sputtering start, 3 2-and-outs and a fumble for the Alouettes on offense, and White kicking to Larry Taylor from his 32. Shea Emery downfield, the flag flies. This one may be against a quasi-Antwi, at least that's the indication from the Alouettes.
Illegal block. Calgary number 47. 10-yard penalty. First down.
It is the Mount Allison product. Antwi drawing the flag. Well, he's started just the way he left off last year, hasn't he?
Absolutely. He's hits that hole, hits the line of scrimmage fearlessly.
11 touchdowns last year. Here's Robbie Bryant taking the flanker sweep. And nothing doing as he's eased out by a former Stampeder, Dwight Anderson, back in the starting defense of the Alouettes.
We touched on it, Chris, but John Cornish is going to get basically all of the carries from that tailback spot in this game here this evening. When they get LaMarcus Coker back, who is an import, he's not on the roster tonight, but they're looking to get him back next couple of weeks, that they will start to again go through a rotation, but for now it'll be all Cornish all the time, and he loves it.
2nd and 9, stays in the block. Tate can't find anybody one side. He's got Robbie Bryant for a first down on the far side of the field. And Drew Tate is 7 for 7.
Sorry, Chris, all eyes, yes, on Drew Tate, and 7 for 7 is a great start. You know, watching Drew Tate play in the preseason, looked like he was a little bit nervous. In fact, the butterflies were getting to him a little bit. He was putting a lot of heat on these type of passes, but nice pocket presence here. He stepped up, looked to his left, didn't like what he saw there, slid to his right, and found Bryant wide open.
They go no huddle against the Jeff Reinbold defense. Huge hole. John Cornish pops it across midfield. And the Alouettes, who needed to shore up their defense after the Eastern semifinal against Hamilton, are having trouble in this first quarter.
Watch left guard Steve Middleton and John Gott, the center, open up this huge hole for John Cornish. He is not even touched till he is in the secondary. That offensive line's winning the battle right now.
20 for Cornish. First down, 54-yard line, and there's the drop. Landon Talley, the first incompletion of the game, the man who will take the spot of Kenyon Rambo.
There's new defensive coordinator in Montreal, Jeff Reinbold, who's trying to figure out now how he can slow down this momentum from John Cornish. Of course, a lot of CFL fans will remember Reinbold from his time as the head coach and general manager for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. In the last few years coaching in Europe, place in Hawaii, and he's got to get that front four to start winning some battles up front for him. The offensive line for Calgary is winning them right now.
2nd and 10. Tate stands in, trying to get back to Talley. And the pass skipped short and incomplete.
And Drew Tate had the alley there, the nice throwing lane to get it inside to Talley. It just looked like that ball kind of tailed down and took a nosedive on him. He's got the wind behind him. But watch the nice throwing lane you'll see here when he steps back in the pocket. Good throwing lane there. No one in his face. And just kind of short hops it to land a tally, who gets that starting slot back job from Kenyon Rambo, who is now moved on and possibly a Toronto Argonaut.
Rob Maver punting over the head of Guy, who lets it go into the end zone. And that'll be a single point for the Stampeders. The lead increases to 18, but probably a good decision by the newcomer Guy, as the Alouettes look for better special teams in 2012. 66-yard punt.
You know, this could be surprising for a lot of people, that the Montreal Alouettes, with their great veterans on offense, are down 18-0 this early in this game. But think about a couple of key plays. Jamel Richardson stripped on a catch that he's made and got a first down by Juwan Simpson. That fumble recovery goes to the end zone from Keenan McDougall, the new safety. And then Anthony Calvillo has another pass dropped by Eric Delorier down the seam, which was getting the Alouettes momentum and into Calgary side of the field, and that one dropped.
Should be the final play of the opening quarter. Brandon Whitaker tries to turn the corner. Up to the 41, maybe the 42-yard line. 6 for 7 on the final play in a first quarter dominated by the Stampeders. Stats are brought to you by Rona, proud sponsor of the Canadian Football League and partner with its 8 teams.
Not very often you see Anthony Calvillo-led offense with just 1 first down after a quarter of football, but credit to the Calgary defense. They came out ready to play on Canada Day, and by the way, happy Canada Day, partner.
Yes, you too, red tie.
I know. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. Unusual start. I didn't expect this from Montreal, because they're usually, as a veteran team, so good out of the gate. Although Mark Trestman might remind me, it might not be a veteran team in a lot of ways anymore.
Well, he believes they start from scratch every year, and that's what he told us yesterday. So they've got to go and prove it again. So does Anthony Calvillo. It was a tough quarter for him, but if any team can come back, if any team won't panic in the CFL because they are veterans, especially on offense, it's the Montreal Alouettes.
Best first quarter for Calgary in over a year. There's a completion up at midfield. S.J. Green the catch. So many weapons for Montreal.
First 1,000-yard season 2011 for S.J. Green. He had 1,147. Just 4 touchdowns. He's coming deep from the backfield here, so needs to time up that waggle to the line of scrimmage. So the snap of the ball, he's not even looking in at the center. He's just going to get out there, push off the defensive back, and turn in that curl.
First down after the 16-yarder to Green. It's a swing pass to Whitaker, and he is not going anywhere. Quincy Butler, who made his first start late last year against Montreal, steps up from his defensive halfback position. Let's join Jermaine Franklin.
Thanks, Chris. Well, since it is Canada Day, it's only fitting to recognize the top Canadian in the CFL Top 50 TSN poll, which is Josh Burke, left tackle for the Alouettes. Now, in a position that's dominated by imports, Burke is the best in the business. And although he enjoys the accolades, he says his mother was more excited about it than he was. And he was actually watching a movie during the TSN broadcast when the news came out. But he knew real quick, because his phone was blowing up with text messages and phone calls to let him know he was 9th out of the top 50.
Well, how big is Josh Burke? When he got hurt late last year, the Alouettes lost their final 3 regular season games. They lost the Eastern Semi against Hamilton. They might have something going here, though, as Jamel Richardson, a 21-yard pickup. 29
years old in his 6th year, and that's right. It's become a position, that left tackle spot, that's been dominated by imports. Josh Burke, 9th in our top 50. The Montreal Alouettes, 4 players in the top 10.
Out of a double tight end set. Calvillo with time, looking downfield, open man, touchdown, Brian Bratton, a 37-yard touchdown strike.
Cat and mouse game, maybe the first test now for Keenan McDougall at safety between Anthony Calvillo, McDougall back here, and whether or not Anthony Calvillo looked him off, froze him with his eyes and his look, and waited to get that crossing route from Brian Bratton from the left side all the way over to the right side. Numbers wide open.
So the Alouettes get right back in at 5 plays, 75 yards. And Anthony Calvillo has touchdown number 419 of his career. Flag down on the extra point.
And that's exactly what I was saying at the break, that when you have a veteran offense like this, get down in a hole early, no one panics.
Offside, Calgary number 8. That 5-yard penalty will be applied on the kickoff. Convert's good.
That's Fred Bennett. Touchdown for Anthony Calvillo and the Alouettes, 18-7.
And doesn't open his hips there and go out of your screen to the left, he might have a shot to break on that football the opposite direction.
Back to work, Drew Tate. Fakes to Cornish, pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage. Is that J.P. Bakasiak who got his hands on the football? Rod Davis, the former Edmonton Eskimo, with the knockdown.
There's big Rod Davis.
Tate, 2nd and 10. He's got Lewis over the middle. And it's another first down for the Stamps up at the 50.
You know, in all honesty, Nick Lewis can use that size, that girth that he has to his advantage, because Nick Lewis is going to run this in route. And if you're a trailing defensive back or linebacker like Chip Cox right here, you got to try and reach around him to get to that football. That's a cab ride to get around.
8 straight 1,000-yard seasons receiving for Lewis. Here's Cornish. Down the right side, Billy Parker hauling him down. Prior to that carry, he'd averaged just over 8 yards per run so far. Man, it's another 8-yard run.
Billy Parker back in that secondary is now going to play the corner for the Montreal Alouettes as they move Dwight Anderson, the former Calgary Stampeder, inside to halfback.
A lot of new faces in that Alouette defense and some veterans gone. 2nd and short. And Bo Levi Mitchell in on the short yardage. A kid that caught our eye in the preseason, the number 3 quarterback behind Tate and Kevin Glenn.
Well, we mentioned Josh Burke, the left tackle for Montreal, was the 9th on our top 50 pick. John Cornish was real happy with his position. He's 10th in the top 50 right here from the Calgary Stampeders, but can take a look at the 4 Montreal Alouettes that are in the top 10 of the top 50. Cornish said, I'm happy with my spot.
Boy, there aren't many that were.
You're right about that.
There goes. In the flat and down inside the 30. John Cornish continues to rack up the yards. Finally, Kyrie Seibert, the safety, puts a stop to it.
Show you a little bit of why John Cornish is so good as a tailback. Watch how when he makes these moves in the open field, once he gets the ball and turns his shoulders downfield, he's making these moves while continuing to keep his forward momentum. That's the important part. If you stop and jab your feet back and forth, the defense can rally.
21 more. 6 receivers out. Tate, as the pocket collapses, will take off. And he'll stop him in the 20.
Well, he had a wide open Johnny Forzani, who had scrambled to a spot right by the numbers, but thought just to protect the ball, he was pretty much full go to that sideline because he was being chased from behind, and he made a wise decision just to run out of bounds. He's got a nice manageable situation, 2nd and short here.
7 for Tate, who ran the short yardage team behind Henry Burris last year. Didn't run a lot in his time as a starter. By the way, he started the last 3 games, 3-0 as a starter, and then lost the semifinal. Trouble with that, and he's just going to eat the football. And been able to get up. Shea Emery with the hit that will draw a flag.
And that was Shea Emery.
And Tate,
yeah,
a little slow to get up. He had a dislocated shoulder last year in Edmonton, missed a month, and took a shot from Emery that draws the ire of his teammates.
Well, I wonder what Shea Emery will get here, because not only can you, that was it a late hit that Drew Tate had surrendered. You can't hit a player that's down and surrendered.
So instead of third down, that penalty likely to give Calgary a first down, and is Emery gone?
He was not making any attempt really to get up and run. He just had surrendered down there, and all Shea Emery has to do then is go by and touch him down. It's the same for any player.
Foul. Unnecessary roughness. Montreal number 41. We're going to go up half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
So it is a first down. They will take it to the Alouette 17.
Well, and maybe for Shea Emery, who is back there at that linebacker spot, had he got any helmet contact here, well, he does too. In front of his helmet does hit the shoulder of Drew Tate. I think he can feel pretty fortunate that that's all he got.
Mark Treston brings him to the sidelines. Tate, Taylor, inside the 5. So a penalty extended drive now sees Calgary first and goal.
Now Calgary goes right over the middle where Shea Emery is now no longer there. Marc-Olivier Brulette in the middle, and you see how he gets caught peeking to the right side. But I like what Mark Trestman did here. I mean, he saw the penalty from Shea Emery and didn't leave him in the football game, got him over to the sideline to think about it. He's always been a coach that has wanted to respect the opponent.
Timeout, Montreal.
So the Alouettes didn't like Chris, personnel on the field called a timeout.
So Chris, even though this weakens the defense because you're putting a backup on the field, Jeff Reinbold and Mark Trestman decide to get Shea Emery off. Don't create any more animosity, because you know there's 5 Calgary offensive linemen right now that are looking for 41 and Will for taking that shot at Drew Tate. I think he's fortunate that all he got was unnecessary roughness, because that could have been a judgment call by Glenn Johnson. But I think this is a smart move by Trestman. Get him on the sideline, let him just get out of the action for a few plays.
Go first and goal from the 3 into the hands of Cornish. Goal line touchdown. Well, he's going to make the most of this Canada Day. John Cornish, second major of this first half.
The other thing here, Chris, that Mark Trestman is a team-first guy, as pretty much every coach is. And I'll tell you what, that hit on Drew Tate creates this 6 points from John Cornish. Calgary was done there going to kick a field goal.
9 plays, 75 yards. Looks like Tate will be all right. Pat Clayton checking with him.
Scary moment there, because those are the types where you can get a dislocated shoulder. When you're down and defenseless and someone puts all their weight and comes down on you, but he looks like he'd be okay.
So the Stamps answer that Alouette score. And are up by 18 again.
But big deal.
And it's been Calgary convincingly so far, but we're early on here with just under 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Again, it's Noel Devine. And he gets tossed down out at the 30-yard line. Calgary won both regular season meetings last year, high-scoring affairs.
Let's take a look at what happened in this sequence. This is second down, so if Shea Emery makes the team-first decision and touches Drew Tate down, they're going to have to try and kick a field goal. Because of that penalty, he's taken off the field. They go right over the middle where he should be. And the backup in Marc-Olivier Brulette, and then score right after the next play.
30, handoff right side. Whitaker's got some room. And he shakes off the first tackle from Fred Bennett, bouncing up to the 45-yard line.
I know the Montreal offense is on the field now, and they need an answer. But I'm real curious to find out if whether or not Shea Emery even comes back in the game in the next series.
Helmet back on. You know, it's interesting because Mark Trestman yesterday talked about how good he has been.
Yeah, absolutely, and what a great player he is in the room, and how he practices so well.
Missed so much of last year with injury. Calvillo, he's got a man loose, and Brandon London can't bring it in. London behind coverage, can't make the play.
He was, and made a real nice adjustment to the football. Anthony Calvillo puts it outside of his left shoulder where you need to put the ball so it stays away from any possible defender. And he made a nice, Brandon London makes a nice adjustment right there to widen himself, get in position to get a crack at it, and then it just goes through his fingertips.
So 2nd and 10 at the 43. Pressure on AC. They got him. Anthony Calvillo is sacked for the first time in this game. And the Alouettes will have to kick it away.
Chris McCoy, the newcomer, up on last 5 games of the season last year in the rotation. He's going to come around the edge. He's playing opposite of Charleston Hughes here. Comes around the edge on Jeff Parrott, and he forces Anthony Calvillo to slide up in the pocket. Doesn't have any way to get it out of there from there, and his teammates rally.
There's Sean White, the White Rock BC product. Line drive kick, and Taylor's back inside his 20. And up across the 30, Brian Ridgway in on the special teams tackle.
Emery's back in.
1 sack apiece. Emery has the Alouettes sack. Tate throwing, and this one nearly picked off. In and out of the hands of Chip Cox.
Yeah, Chip Cox is trying to slide out, and I think he's surprised by it, and maybe didn't see the ball basically hit him right in the right leg.
3 interceptions for Cox last year. 2nd and 10, and that's batted down. Off the edge, flying in the safety, Kyrese Bear. And a flag comes down.
Ottawa Renegade in 2004, 2005. And this is luxury that Jeff Reinbold has with this kind of player. He's 31 years old, and Kyrese Bear used to play linebacker, can play halfback, and he was up in that front 7 coming off the edge on that play.
And the penalty against Calgary.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Calgary number 67. It's a 15-yard penalty, and we'll roll the down. It's 3rd down.
That's Dimitri Sumpas, the right guard, who will have a talk with John Hufnagel.
Let's take a look first at Kyrese Bear coming off the edge and just destroying this play. He's right down here at the bottom of your screen, and good timing on the jump. Runs right past any protection. Knocks that out of the air, and I'm wondering if Dimitri Sumpas was looking for Shea Emery.
There's Maver's punt. It's a short one. Trent Guy stepped up and let it bounce, and now fields it. And Guy goes through and bumped out inside the 25. There's a no yards flag. It might have been Maver, the punter, who could field that ball, but Alouettes enjoying great field position here.
I know Maver was hustling there. I'm not sure if he got there in time or not.
No yards. Calgary number 26. It would have been a 5-yard penalty. It's declined though. First down.
He'll take the play, not the penalty. That was Rob Cote in that 5-yard zone.
With the bounce back on the punt.
And you'll see him right here. He's trying to escape. He's trying to get out to that 5-yard area, but pretty nice return there by Trent Guy.
21-yard return, just a 32-yard punt. It sets up the Alouettes first down at the Calgary 25. Whitaker inside and nothing doing again. Snuffed that time by Brian Bulkey. There's another Canadian making an impact.
Real nice job. We'll be in the rotation there with Corey Mace. And they're solid in the interior of that defensive line with those two Canadians, Brian Bulkey and Corey Mace. Bulkey at 281 pounds, Mace at 287. They take up a lot of space in that middle.
So 2nd and 10. AC on a roll. And it goes downfield off the hands of Delorier. He had Brian Bratton in a similar firing line. Wonder who that was intended for.
Well, I think the intended target initially was Jamel Richardson, and Anthony Calvillo's upset because he wanted to get it to Richardson, who's going to run the corner route here, but he gets double teamed by Keenan McDougall, the safety. So here comes Richardson. He was the outside receiver first, but now he's in that corner route, and you can see two Calgary Stampeders. It was Fred Bennett and Keenan McDougall over there to track him down. That took the ball away from Jamel Richardson.
So Sean White on to attempt the field goal. He's got it. And the Alouettes settle for 3. Well, a special edition of This Is Our League, sponsored by Nissan, Canada Day, and at 8:15 this morning at Fort Calgary, our congratulations to Calgary Stampeders defensive coordinator Rick Campbell, born in Spokane, Washington, of course, the son of legendary Hugh Campbell, receiving his Canadian citizenship. He mentioned it to us last night. Very proud that he and his wife are becoming Canadian citizens. And
well, his defense is saying, welcome to Canada, coach, because pretty dominant effort so far. Calgary Stampeders, congratulations to Rick Campbell. That's just awesome. 13 years in the Canadian Football League, and what a perfect time, perfect day to do it. Getting ready for season opener on Canada Day, his football team at home.
Stamp start at the 35. Cornish up the middle, and he'll get 5.
And they'll mark him back with just a 5-yard gain. But did you see the extra effort at the end of the play? I mean, that's what John Cornish gives you. First of all, when he attacks the line of scrimmage, he's fearless. He's going to either get hit there or he's going to slice through. And then at the back end of the top end of the play, he's going to keep crawling and scratching and clawing to try and get another inch or two.
Cote in motion. Tate rolls, drops it off. And Nick Lewis will break a tackle. There is a flag. Lewis would have the first down pending the penalty. They're giving the 3-minute warning to the benches. We'll sort out the flag when we come back. 50. Cornish out of the backfield.
And wide open.
Tate pumps and now has to keep and gets pushed out. Kenny Ingram, a newcomer and linebacker there for Montreal.
You mentioned it. John Cornish came out of the backfield, was wide open to the left of the formation, but something took the attention of Drew Tate to the opposite side. Cornish is going to come out in the flat here. Watch how wide open he is. If Tate gets him the football like right now, he is gone. I mean, he turns the corner and there's no one to tackle him, but a little bit of pressure from that side and it distracted Tate enough, flushed him out the other end.
No gain, 2nd and 10. Tate gunning him for tally. He was well covered. Gerald Brown, good to see him back in the Alouette lineup. Injured last year, broken ankle in the first game of the year. And it was a career-threatening injury. But one of the veteran DBs of the Alouettes is back, and as you can see here, he's back in top form.
Just solid. I mean, that's not coming out of your back pedal, not turning, and he just jumps the inside position there. Nowhere for Drew Tate to put the football. That's an all-star type play. Rookie nominee back in 2009, Gerald Brown.
Maver with a good boot into the wind. And Guy from just inside his 10 found a little crease and takes it up to about the 23-yard line. Well, say hello to the new Mondays on Bravo every Monday night. New episodes of Suits at 9 Eastern, White Collar at 10. All new Monday, very Bravo.
I'm blue collar. This is an important series, Chris, for this offense, for the Montreal Alouettes. And there's 2:07. That's plenty of time for Anthony Calvillo to put a drive together. But if they can't, and Calgary may get time to put some more points on the board and increase this advantage.
Steps up underneath Delorier, who figures to play a more prominent role in the offense. Short gain there.
You know what I've seen from this Calgary defense, and of course Chris Jones was a defensive coordinator last year. We mentioned Rick Campbell, and I just see a team that is playing quick. I mean, not that they didn't last year, but I think what's happened here is Rick Campbell's system is maybe simpler, less formations, but it lets the guys play. They know the responsibilities and they rally to the football quickly.
2nd and 7. AC looking for Richardson, and he can't hook up. And another 2 and out.
And that's what I mentioned. At 2 and out here for Montreal. Drew Tate gets the ball back in real good field position, depending on what Larry Taylor does with it here on this return, and has a chance to increase the lead. And that's why this is so important. I know it's still early in the game, but it was a good 2 and out by that Calgary defense, who's won the battle today so far.
4th 2 and out of the game. Morley might be offside. He nearly blocked it. Taylor back at his 36. And he'll be eased out. Demetrius Morley, 31, looked like he was a step ahead of the snap.
Now it was 3rd and more than 5.
It would likely become 3rd and 2.
Yeah.
What does Mark Trestman do with that?
I don't think he has much choice but to kick it away again. And another example of why success on 1st down offensively is so important, because if you can get even 5, even a small little play, a little mistake like that, an offside, and you're moving the chains and your offense is back on the field.
But if he's not gambling, he might elect just to have the Stamps take the ball at the 40. So you want to give Larry Taylor another shot.
Calgary, number 31. 5-yard penalty will repeat 3rd down.
They'll punt again.
You know, and part of the discussion here, or at least the thought process for Trestman, has also got to be the fatigue of his punt cover team. When you have to cover one punt and then you come back and then have to cover it again, that's when returners can get that good jump, maybe catch a crease.
So Taylor stepped out at the 40 the last time. He awaits this punt around the 35. Unless the Alouettes have something on. 3rd and 2. White boots it away, and Calgary's going to get better field position. Up across the 50-yard line. So Drew Tate's got a minute 22 left. We asked him yesterday about assuming the roles as the #1 guy in Calgary.
Now everyone, you know, they want you to break the team down. You know, they want you to say something to the team. You know, like the younger guys, they're like, "Oh, man, you're big time, Drew Tate." I'm like, man, you know, like I got here the same way you did. I had the tryout, and then I went to the Florida camp, and then just worked my way up. And so it's definitely different, but this is what you do all the work for, you know, to be in this kind of situation.
Not much doubt he's bided his time. Into the flat, Seth Williams bumps Robbie Bryant out, but it's a Calgary first down, and the Stamps poised to enhance this lead prior to halftime.
Mark Trestman was asked by the media yesterday about Drew Tate and couldn't praise him enough. I mean, just has tremendous respect. Of course, Tate, in one of his 3 starts last year, beat the Montreal Alouettes in Montreal, so he knows what Drew Tate can do.
It was his best game, 333 yards passing, career best. Into the flat, it's caught by Lewis. Breaks the tackle, and down to the 36. Well, Nick Lewis is in mid-season form.
There's the numbers from that game in October. Drew Tate, one of his 3 starts. He was 3-0 in the regular season in his starts, and then there's just 333 yards passing in that game. Mark Trestman said, yeah, I know how good he is.
Looks like he's got a free play here. Oh, flat and broken up. But it looked like Tate got the Montreal Alouettes to jump Gerald Brown on the defensive play.
And maybe he knew that and had a free play through when the timing wasn't there on the out.
Offside. Montreal, number 99. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. First down.
Because big Aaron Hunt.
Yeah, because Gerald Brown had a jump on that football, and only Robbie Bryant stripping him of it prevented a Montreal touchdown going the other way. But Drew Tate may have seen Aaron Hunt jump offside and knew he had a free play.
2-time All CFL, the former BC Lion with a new address. 1st and 5, draw, Cornish, first down. Working against a defense that made some changes, gone. Etienne Boulay, Ramon Guzman, Diamond Ferry, Jermaine McIlvain, Anwar Stewart.
Anwar Stewart, yeah, Anwar Stewart, one of the big names there. Look at the size of that hole. I mean, Shea Emery and those offensive linemen going after him.
Tate from the pocket into the end zone. And Lewis stretched out, couldn't reel it in.
Cinches away, a little more air on the ball from Drew Tate there. He might have got it to Nick Lewis. Just notice on that last run from John Cornish that those offensive linemen are getting down the field trying to look for 41.
So it's 2nd and 10. Just under a half-minute left here in the opening half. Good short drop, a pump, and now underneath Cornish. Shea Emery right there to bring him down. And that'll force the field goal unit back out for Calgary.
But add to the lead. Good possibility with basically a chip shot field goal here. Because the defensive stop, the last series for the Montreal Alouettes, the Calgary defense got the stop, they got the 2 and out. That sets up this 3 points.
And the Alouettes use their timeout so they can't stop the clock and maybe have time for a few plays after this field goal attempt.
And Drew Tate has one advantage that a lot of quarterbacks haven't, and that's to have great mentors, great coaches, guys that have played the position. Both Dave Dickinson, who he's talking to right now, and head coach John Hufnagel.
Please set the play clock, the game clock to 4 seconds. Game clock to 4 seconds.
Great quarterbacks in their own right during their time, and cerebral type guys who understand the game and can communicate it to Drew Tate.
Gotta ask Matt Dunnigan if they do some surfing in Texas, because Drew sounds a little like a surfer dude, doesn't he?
He does. He's got the hair for it too.
It's been a good first half. I'm not sure if John Hufnagel was concerned, but there were some whispers around Calgary that it wasn't a great preseason for Drew Tate. A lot of pressure on him, but a good first half. And Paredes puts it through, and it's an 18-point lead with 1 second on the clock.
You know, I don't think the Calgary Stampeders could have had a better first half, Chris. I mean, Drew Tate, solid in the passing game. We've seen him thread the needle a couple of times in this first half and put the ball right on his receivers. He's 13 of 20 in the first half. He went the first 7 of 7 before I think there was one right on the money and a receiver dropped it for his first incompletion. And John Cornish has established the running game and a solid defensive effort. That's textbook. That's a great first half for the Calgary Stampeders, a home team.
These two teams meeting twice in the first 3 weeks. Calgary beat Montreal in the 2008 Grey Cup when coaches Hufnagel and Trestman were in their first years, and then it was 2 straight Grey Cup victories for Mark Trestman. Last year, similar stories. Both teams tailed off second half. Both went 5-5 down the stretch, beaten in the Eastern semifinal and Western semifinals. And so both coaches looking for change in 2012.
The senior statesmen in the Canadian Football League this year. Both arrived, as you mentioned, in 2008, and yet they are the most experienced coaches in the league this year. That tells you how young the head coaches across the board are this year.
And a reminder, the old guy in BC is a GM now.
That's right.
Go down. There's the fullback for the Laval, Patrick Lavoie, on the final play of the opening half. And yes, it was an impressive one for the home side. Mark Trestman's team trailing by 18.
The halftime stat. Schultze, what do you got?
Okay, stating the obvious is worth re-emphasis. Look at the Calgary Stampeders on offense. They scored a touchdown on offense, on defense, and they have also scored points on special teams. Right now, for Montreal, Mark Trestman is looking at Jeff Reinbold saying, Jeff, come here, I got to talk to you. What is going on out there, Jeff?
Well, Calgary was one of the highest scoring teams in the league last year. John Corner's having a great night. Just spoke with Jermaine Franklin.
Well, perhaps proving that last year was no fluke. You're averaging 7.4 yards per carry in this first half. What has been going right for you?
You know, it's been pretty good, I think, all around. We have Drew's, throwing the ball to everybody, including myself, and it's been pretty nice. I mean, it's nice seeing those completions. I mean, we've had a few drops, but I mean, almost every ball has been straight on. So I'm actually really impressed right now.
You told us earlier that it was a dream that you, Coach A, and Tate were looking forward to. Obviously, it's come true this half. How nice is it to start something fresh, I guess, this season in such a positive manner?
It's just the first half, but I think we're certainly doing what we want to do. I think if we can come out and do the same thing in the second half, I mean, we're going to be some pretty happy campers after the game.
Thanks, John, and happy Canada Day.
Oh, thank you. Happy Canada Day.
He is a happy guy, isn't he?
Was he at the Nick Lewis Nation tailgate party before the game?
Hey, you know what? He's got 2 touchdowns. He's having a good day. It's Canada's birthday. Second half is next.
But are there positives in that second quarter that you can build on moving forward?
Well, we want to just put the first half away, quite frankly. We've come into Calgary and we've had penalties. We haven't caught the ball on either side of the ball. We haven't been in control of this game in terms of controlling the things that we're able to control. And then credit to the Stampeders. They're running the ball well. They're finishing drives and doing a lot of good things. So we put the first 2 quarters behind us, and we're looking to start our season right now.
What are you looking to see in this third quarter to start?
Well, number one, we got to stop the run on defense and get off the field on second down and long, and offensively we got to put some drives together and continue to make some plays.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Obviously the coach not happy, and why would he be with that 30 minutes that was not really trademark Montreal football?
No, they got a late wake-up call, and they've said that first half is not indicative of what they are going to be this year. They put it behind them, but I heard him mention that John Cornish is stopping the run. That puts the pressure squarely on the shoulders of middle linebacker Shea Emery, who had his issues in that first half. Finished the half back starting in the middle of that defense, so it'll be Emery against Cornish in the second half.
White boots it downfield. Larry Taylor with it for the Stamps. And he's tripped up at around the 35-yard line. Drew Tate sharp in the opening 30 minutes.
I really thought he was good decision making, nice numbers, 13 of 20, no interceptions, which is something that John Hufnagel said yesterday in our meeting that he wanted to concentrate and focus on with Drew Tate, is to try and eliminate those mistakes, try and get that touchdown interception ratio like Anthony Calvillo's was a year ago.
Now here's John Cornish. Can Montreal stop the run? They step up this time and bring Cornish down for a short gain. Marcus Morel, a newcomer on the defensive line, in on the tackle.
Kyrie Bear is going to just come up, and he's come out of that safety spot and played down in the front 7 for basically all the second quarter, and he's down there again, steps up and cuts Cornish down.
One of the reasons Etienne Boulay was made expendable. 2nd and 8, gunned over the middle, and Nick Lewis hangs on. Chip Cox in the neighborhood, one of the top defenders in the league, but that doesn't stop Nick Lewis.
Yeah, Chip Cox can't cover this any better. I mean, he's got his hand right in there. Little swim move to get inside for Nick Lewis, but that's just strong hands when the ball arrives and beating your opponent at the top of the rope.
14 for Lewis, who comes into this season just under 800 yards away from 10,000 in his career. Cornish. And he falls forward across midfield.
Interesting when you see plays like that. That last one to Nick Lewis and Chip Cox, where, you know, two veteran players, two very good football players are battling. Cox covering it real close. He's still thinking about it. And then Nick Lewis is just back in the huddle getting ready now. And even after the play, Chip Cox kind of got up and gave him a little pat on the shoulder, saying, okay, nice one, you got me there. Let's go line up again.
So 2nd and 6 from midfield. Tate, look out. Gets it into the top for Johnny Forzani. And Forzani has his first catch and a first down. Drew Tate just got that away.
761 yards for Forzani last season. Drew Tate just gets this out of here just in time. Blitz coming from Shea Emery. It's picked up, but off the edge, the Alouettes get there, and Drew Tate has to get rid of this on time to Forzani, who is no longer sort of the best kept secret in the CFL.
2 100-yard games against Montreal last year for Forzani. Here's Tate looking downfield, up for grabs. And it's intercepted. Billy Parker at the goal line, and he's up and running. He'll be brought down by Landon Talley, but a big play for Billy Parker. An interception of Drew Tate that gives the Alouettes the football. Terrific interception by Billy Parker gives the Alouettes the football. Asked Josh Burke yesterday, what member of the Alouettes you think should have been in the top 50 who wasn't? He said Billy Parker.
Yeah, he did. William and Mary.
At the 11-yard line, Calvillo slings. It's a completion. This guy's been a little quiet so far today. Jamel Richardson, just his 3rd catch.
This is some kind of catch by Billy Parker, who's going to be the high player at the corner here. He's playing in the outside 3rd. It's like a zone defense where he's going to drop back deep and just run with Johnny Forzani, timing it when the ball arrives, but a real good catch. And we had to take a couple looks in commercial to see if he did hang on to this ball, but watch him protect it. Hand underneath, survive contact with the ground. That's a receiver-style catch.
Well, for Richardson, now Whitaker, and they can't get the running game established. Play made by the newcomer defensive end, Chris McCoy.
Of course, Scott Milanovich is now the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts, which promoted Marcus Brady to offensive coordinator. He'll work with Mark Trestman. They put the game plan together, and then Brady works with Anthony Calvillo on the sideline between each series. That huge play chart that he has right in front of him.
4 new head coaches and a lot of new men as defensive and offensive coordinators. Ryan Bolden Campbell on the defensive side. There's Calvillo looking downfield, and this one's intercepted. Picked off by Brandon Smith. So the Stampeders get it right back. Smith, with just 1 last year, has 1 on opening day.
similar zone when Billy Parker got for the Montreal Alouettes his interception. This time Brandon Smith is going to be the high player from the halfback position. You can see he's the deep outside third player. They got a man in the flat and Keon Raymond, and safety Keenan McDougall coming from the middle. 3 deep zone defense. You've got 3 high players, and Brandon Smith comes underneath that one and wins the jump ball with Brandon London.
Second turnover by the Alouette offense on the day. Here's John Cornish, and he got tripped up and around the line of scrimmage and finished off by Shea Emery.
Throwing into that veteran side. This was this is a celebration of the defense on an interception. This theme of the Nick Lewis tailgate continues. That looked like a little cheers, toast,
That's
salute.
a day to celebrate.
Happy Canada Day, folks.
2nd and 6. In the short drop inside, and that's picked off. Dwight Anderson. 3rd straight series that has ended with an interception, and the former Stampeder Dwight Anderson gets it back for the Alouettes.
Well, in this one, Drew Tate was absolutely livid and upset with his decision because he turns. Just watch the quarterback. This is just blanket coverage inside by Dwight Anderson. I mean, a little bit of a pull, but there is no way that Drew Tate should have thrown that pass and watched the reaction. He knows it immediately. Luke Mullender trying to block the quarterback. Tate's a return on that interception.
You know, Drew Tate never threw an interception as a reliever in Calgary. As a starter, though, in 3 starts, 5 interceptions prior to this game. Now Whitaker, he's dragged down by Demetrius Morley. Alouettes have not got much done on the ground so far against this stout Calgary defense.
Yeah, that surprises me most, and that's not taking anything away from the Calgary defense. They played great this evening, but there's a lot of changes on that defense, including their coordinator and Rick Campbell, and a lot of new faces. So the way they're playing tonight, I'm quite surprised Brandon Whitaker hasn't turned up some more yards. This was the leading running back in the league a year ago.
Does open the playbook up here at 2nd and 3 after a 7-yard run. Bunch to the wide side. Calvillo underneath, and S.J. Green spins off contact and has his 2nd catch of the day, a 1st down up at the 41.
Whitaker was in our top 50, number 4 overall. 1,381 yards rushing. Here's S.J. Green on this little crossing route, and he'll move the chains and give Whitaker another chance to get up there, but this is an offense that starts with him. And he does a nice job of blocking the passing game, yes, but need to establish Whitaker so that S.J. Green and Jamel Richardson can get out there and get open in the play-action game.
Richardson, the leading receiver. S.J. Green, number 6. By far the most dynamic combination in the league. 1st down, Calvillo chucks down, and nothing there. Demetrius Morley again on the scene for Calgary.
And nothing for Whitaker. And I know talking to a few of the Calgary Stampeders said that they have game plan to stop him. That's they believe is the key. Slow down Whitaker. Don't let them get anything going running the football. And you got a chance.
Whitaker over 2,000 yards from scrimmage last year. He's lost 4 yards running, 39 yards passing so far. And a screen, and it was nearly picked. And almost home free was Keon Raymond, the President's Ring winner here in Calgary, is the top player a year ago. Had 2 touchdowns last year and was sizing up his first of 2012.
Well, career high in interceptions last year. He's baiting Anthony Calvillo, staying off the line of scrimmage there. He's like a high player like we've shown you a couple times, but doesn't move. Then when he sees the screen coming again to Whitaker, he jumps it. I thought he was gone. He forgot one thing, the football.
Guy who has settled into Calgary, part of the community with his family. John White line drive. Larry Taylor has it and has something on the return. Taylor across midfield. And finally pushed out at around the 40-yard line. That line drive kick set it up. And he returns it 37 yards. action fake to Brown. Roulet on a roll. Downfield, wide open. It's the record for G. Roy Simon. He has caught Milt. And Simon says he's the all-time CFL pass receiving leader. One of the headlines of the opening weekend of CFL play in 2012.
I had a nice conversation with Jamel Richardson's last year's leading receiver in the CFL about that game and about G. Roy Simon. He said, hey, he wanted to congratulate him too. Tremendous respect, and watches G. Roy's film to improve himself.
Tate sets up the screen. Rapote, the kid from Cochrane, for the first down inside the 30.
Congratulations once again to G. Roy Simon, all-time leader. Canadian Football League history in a year that we will play for the 100th Grey Cup in November. 2 teams. Pretty unique and exciting year. And you know, when I go across the country, and I'm sure it's the same for you, Chris, all the players are so aware of that they will be, 2 teams will be fighting it out for the 100th Grey Cup, and they understand how special that is.
Already sold out in Toronto. Kairos Saber getting attention on the field.
He's been all over the field and has not lost a step at all. He's 31 years old. I've seen him come on a lot of blitzes, creating havoc. We saw him deep on Billy Parker's interception, helping out there. I mean, hopefully, for Al's fans, he's just cramping up a little bit.
Mark Trestman excited to have him in that defense, but he was pretty open yesterday and in the last week, suggesting he wasn't sure what to expect yet from this defense. A new group, new philosophy, a work in progress, and I think we've seen evidence of that so far in this game. And while they continue to work on Hebert, we'll step out and be right back to McMahon. CFL on TSN continues Friday. Wendy's Friday Night Football between these Alouettes and the Blue Bombers. Live coverage from Montreal underway at 7 Eastern for Pacific on TSN. Happy Canada Day, boys.
It doesn't get any more Canadian than that.
First and 10, that's tally in motion. Hand off to Cornish. And not going anywhere this time. Looks like he ran into the back of Nashawn Goddard, the left tackle.
Cornish has had some difficulties with his helmet. He's a couple times now has got up and tried to adjust his helmet. And the new rule this year, if that helmet comes off when he's running the football and still on his feet, the play is absolutely dead. It's blown dead at that moment.
No game, they'll look at 2nd and 10. Tate gets it away quickly, and Lewis. Ball comes loose. And are they ruling that a catch and down or incomplete? The officials marking it. And it looks like a catch for Calgary.
Montreal show like they're blitzing and then drop out of there. And there goes a helmet. We have seen a lot less of it because of the rule change. But is this a catch and then a fumble? It looks like he does survive contact from the hit. Couple of side steps and then it goes out on the ground.
16-yard gain, and now a challenge from the Alouette sidelines.
See, Calgary got to the line of scrimmage as quickly as they could. Mark Trestman's spotters upstairs said it's worth another look. By the way, on that hit, if a defensive player loses his helmet, the play won't be blown dead, but he can't participate any longer in the play or he'll get a penalty for it.
Montreal is challenging the ruling of a catch on the play. We'll review it.
I'm not sure who made the hit from Montreal, but he lost his helmet at the time. And let's see if...
Is that Chip Cox?
Yeah, I think it is. It's the initial contact that you have to survive as a receiver, whether it be another opponent, another player, or the ground. And I believe Nick Lewis survives the contact there, has control, and then loses it when he hits the ground. This will be the best angle. You can see he has control there. So had Nick Lewis hypothetically kept his feet there and kept moving, Chip Cox can't get up and be part of the play any longer without a helmet.
While we're waiting, we saw the G. Simon record, and I'm not suggesting that Nick Lewis is going to challenge that record, but if there's one guy playing, it might be Lewis, approaching 10,000 yards. He's 6 years younger.
After review, the player caught the ball and was down with contact. It's a catch. The ruling on the field stands.
So Lewis has another catch.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't think a lot of people are considering Lewis is the way he plays. Can he play 7, 8 more years with the physical contact and the punishment that he plays in?
And keep in mind, G. Simon wants to play 3 or 4 more years.
Pushing that record out there. Taking rolling out in the flat, wide open. Lewis, touchdown. Oh, he's the senior guy. And Nick Lewis Nation celebrates.
So does his tailgate crew. And quick decision by Tate to get the ball in his hands out there so that Lewis can turn his shoulders upfield, and then he can carry that 240-pound frame, can he? How many times have we seen him get up over the top like that?
We've seen the hurdle. That was more the Lewis lunge. Extra point's good, and the Stampeders extend the lead. 13-yard touchdown for number 82.
3 receivers to the wide side of the field, and watch him just go to the dead spot out here and just die out there. Now he gives the quarterback and Drew Tate a chance to get him the football quickly, get his shoulder pads upfield, and get some momentum. And he goes up over the top, Nick Lewis fashion.
9th catch, 87 yards, and airborne for the score.
You know, Chris, defenders have no choice but to do this. When you go to tackle Nick Lewis in space, you have to go low on him because of that 240 pounds. You try and take him on high, and you will get steamrolled.
Back in Texas!
And on this Canada Day, Nick Lewis has passed your hero, Jim Young, into 24th spot on the all-time list, 30-30. And he will start to climb the ladder even further as he approaches 10,000 more.
I still have Jim Young's chin strap from when I was a little kid in Empire Stadium.
TSN, am I still 15?
Did Nick Lewis just wonder if he moved up the top 50? Because he just said, have I moved up or is...
Thank you for the motivation, TSN.
Thank you for the motivation. So apparently not too happy with his ranking.
Well, he's 15th. He wanted to go up. He said, am I still 15 after that touchdown?
I got to get it. I don't know who writing the check, but somebody about to cash in.
See, the receivers ahead of Nick Lewis on our top 50 list were Chad Owens at 12, Fred Stamps at 8th, G. Simon at 7th, and then Jamel Richardson at 2nd.
You see a Nick saying, I was 3rd in the league in receiving last year and been around for some time, 1,000 yards a season. I don't know if anybody's debating who was the number 1 ranked guy, although he's been relatively quiet today, Jamel Richardson. It's a catch for Brian Bratton, who had a touchdown earlier in the game. Let's check in with Jermaine Franklin.
Well, Chris, we did it again. We upset a Stampeders defender because they were left off the TSN top 50 list. Now, this time it's Charleston Hughes, and when I talked to him about it this week, he said he wasn't upset. But the fact that he left his helmet on, fully strapped while we were chatting, made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. I'm just glad that he didn't think I was a big, juicy quarterback. But the other player that was left off the year before was Keon Raymond, he said he'd let his play do the talking. I talked to Raymond about it this week. He said that Charleston Hughes feels the same way. He's not going to complain about it. He's going to let his play do the talking, and I think he's off to a good start with a sack of Anthony Calvillo in this game.
Yeah, we get him fired up. You know, when this first started a couple years ago, I know I was trying to figure out, because it's so subjective and there's 25 voters, and so it should shake out in the wash somehow, and I was a little, concerned about that very fact, but I love this list now. And we can continue to do this. It fires the players up. It gets them talking. They want to get on the list, and there's some that say, including Jim Pop, general manager of the Montreal Alouettes, who said, hey, if you're not happy with where you were, play better.
There's Calvillo throwing for almost intercepted. Juwan Simpson on the bounce. Comes up with the ball. The officials on the scene say incomplete.
Quincy Butler is in perfect coverage on Bratton. He's closing quickly. Zero inside there. He gets his hands on it. Now you'll see Juwan Simpson. Does he catch? No, that bounced off the turf up into his chest.
Well, you're used to this. The offensive guys get the headlines, but the biggest story of this day might be the way this Calgary defense is shutting down a high-powered, highly thought-of Montreal offense. It looks at 2nd and 10. Whitaker on the run. Whitaker's got a first down and sent cartwheeling on the play by Bennett.
That doesn't happen very often, where on 2nd and long, like 2nd and 10, you see draws in 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4. It's really to try and catch the defense off guard, which you have to say it does here for the Montreal Alouettes, because Brandon Whitaker with a nice cut there to bounce it. Hit and cut down by Brandon West, but he gets it. Brandon Smith. This is Brandon's everywhere. We'll get him sorted out.
Brandon Whitaker, 10 carries, 50 yards now. Led the league in 10-yard runs or more last year. From the 50, AC going deep. And overthrowing the intended target. Trying to connect with Brian Bratton once again.
You know, it's been a pretty good game for Keenan McDougall. I talked about right off the top of the show. And is the safety is playing for Eric Fraser, who's hurt out of the U of S. Brian Towers' program there in Saskatoon, playing nice and deep in this game to be safe. And Anthony Calvillo tries to move him here. Watch him stay in his nice back pedal there. That time he didn't open his hips to the field. Wasn't influenced and was over there to help out if needed. And has that touchdown on a fumble return early in this game.
Should mention he's starting because Eric Fraser, the designated starter in preseason, suffered a concussion, incomplete as Calvillo short hops it to Brandon Whitaker. Kind of had the expectation coming into the third quarter we might see the Alouettes get some traction with all that firepower, but they continue to be held in check. White's kick bounding down to Taylor. And he'll be taken down by Eric Delorier after a 40-yard boot.
Mentioned the two elder statesmen in the Canadian Football League. It's still at the very beginnings of their head coaching careers here in the CFL when you think they both arrived in 2008.
Isn't it amazing? In 4 years, their records virtually identical,
it really
separated
is.
by one tie.
Yeah, it really is amazing how close they are, and so competitive and great in their own divisions. Look at how close those records are. And two Grey Cups for Trestman in 09 and 2010. And of course, in Trestman's first year, Huffnagel's first year as a head coach back in the league, he beat Montreal in Montreal. No wait.
There goes Nick Lewis again, up across the 30 to the 33-yard line, closing in on a 100-yard day.
And John Huffnagel, of course, just signing the beginning or this offseason with the new ownership here in Calgary, with the Calgary Flames involved, that made sure that they got their general manager, head coach locked up to 5 years. So he signed a contract extension. Will be here in Calgary for some time. Good decision.
10th catch of the day for Lewis. Sets up 2nd and 1. Both lead by Mitchell. Nothing there. Didn't get any push that time and gets tossed back. Let's see where forward progress is marked.
Eastern Washington quarterback won the job from Brad Sinopoli, who was the third-string quarterback last year. Played with great confidence in the preseason, and will play on short yardage like that, and also will hold field goal formation.
And did get enough for the first down. Marked at the 35. Back in Tate for the final play of the third quarter. Fake to Cornish, has some time, has Landon Talley. Chip Cox wrestles him out. First catch for Talley, and into Montreal territory at the Alouette 53-yard line. Final play, third quarter, Calgary in charge. Through 3 quarters of play here at McMahon.
Well, Drew Tate's looked good, Nick Lewis has looked good, John Cornish looked good, but the story of this game is the Calgary Stampeder defense. How many times in his career as an Alouette has Anthony Calvillo been held to 8 first downs over 3 quarters? I mean, the story of this game has been that Stamps defense.
And especially early in the season, the Alouettes are great front runners in a positive way. They start quickly because they do have continuity. They have these star players. Again, the CFL top 50 has number 2, 3, and 4. They're all on offense, and they've all been stifled today.
Well, they've had the league leaders, Jamel Richardson, Brandon Whitaker, and Anthony Calvillo, and yet that Calgary defense kept them in check.
Here's Cornish trying to get outside, and that's Kenny Ingram who's got a hand on him, and now Cornish comes up pushing.
Just before we went to that break, this was the play that got them the first down. I want to show you a little great old line play from Dimitris Sumpas, the right guard for the Calgary Stampeders, number 67, working up there on Ventrell Jenkins, and he just stones him at the line, allowing Tate a lot of time in that pocket to wait for his receiver to cross the formation and get to the opposite sideline. Canadian right guard up front doing a good job on that play.
Second and 10. Into the flat, Lewis there, drops the ball on the turf. Montreal's got it. Nick Lewis caught it in traffic and immediately dropped it. They're ruling a catch and a fumble and Alouette football. Looks like Marc-Olivier Brouette at the bottom of the pile may have come up with it. And the battle continues.
And was that Dwight Anderson involved in that play as well? Yes. He breaks up in there and cuts in front of R.J. Franklin. You could see that Nick Lewis had possession, and then the ball hits the ground. So I think they got the call right. That's some kind of play by Dwight Anderson there.
So Anderson, who has an interception, has a forced fumble now, and Calvillo trying to get something going, and he does here. A play for Jamel Richardson, and then a catch down to the 25.
That's the accuracy we're used to from Anthony Calvillo. This crossing route takes time, and Calvillo gets it here from the veteran O-line, but the accuracy on this throw is the story. As he steps into that one, pretty good protection there, but let's show you the guy who finished 9th in our top 50. That left tackle, Josh Burt, working one-on-one on Chris McCoy. Stone.
30 for Richardson, first down Alouettes. Calvillo looks over the middle and incomplete. Pass behind Brian Bratton.
And when I say stoned, I mean the stop the guy at the line of scrimmage version. I just want to make sure there's no confusion on that one. Now, we had a good talk with him, and he talked about how the defensive line play in the CFL has improved so drastically over the last even 3 or 4 years. He says, boy, there's just no game off anymore.
Crowd ramped up, second and 10. Calvillo has an open Eric Delorier, and Delorier has a first down. Fred Bennett tosses him down, but Delorier moves the chains.
And I think we got this pick right in picking Josh Burke as number 9. and the top Canadian on our top 50 list. And again, show you a little great old line play. Look at the nice feet. He's got his hands active and in the chest of Chris McCoy. Really manhandling him, pushing him inside so Calvillo can get the ball out of there.
Big guy out of Windsor. Mentioned his mom cares about the rankings. She makes a trip from Windsor to Montreal for every home game. Here comes the pressure. Calvillo throwing at the end zone. It's picked off. Quincy Butler. And Butler up the sidelines, pushed out. Another interception of Anthony Calvillo. Quincy Butler, a late addition last year to the Stamp secondary.
Out of Texas Christian, and gets a chance because Anthony Calvillo really had no time to throw. Wasn't because of the O-line play. It was because of the young free safety for the Calgary Stampeders. We'll show you that in a sec.
Second interception thrown by Calvillo on the day. That play worked earlier in the day, but not this time.
The McDougall family can set the VCR once more for the young free safety. Keenan McDougall is going to force this interception from the safety spot. This is a guy in his first start in the CFL. Watch the timing on this safety blitz as he's going to come right through the middle and force Anthony Calvillo into a chuck and duck. He's got to get out of the way, watch him throw it and fall away from this, put too much air under it, and that allows Quincy Carter to get underneath that football. Or Butler, I should say.
Loss of 4, second and 14 Calgary. Tate on a roll. Now downfield. Forzani's got a catch. Up across the 40-yard line. It's a first down. 17 yards. Tate to Forzani.
Pretty good throw on the run here for Drew Tate. Well, watch it. When he's going that fast, he makes that throw look easy, but it isn't. You're running that fast to even to your right, which is the strong side on a right-armed quarterback, but it's a very accurate throw when he's running that fast.
Now Cornish. Inside handoff to the 45 for 3 yards.
You're right about the concern. It was kind of quiet concern after a preseason less than spectacular for Drew Tate, but his numbers good tonight, and other than a couple of interceptions really back to back, it's been a top to bottom good game for Drew Tate in his first start of 2012 and first start to the beginning of his career. First full season.
Second down. Up top. And he's got Chris Bauman. Chris Bauman, free agent signing. Former #1 overall pick back in 2007. Has a huge gain on that pass from Drew Tate.
Watch Emery in the middle. He's coming on the blitz, and he is picked up nicely. Middle linebackers picked up, gives Drew Tate time to get it out there to Bauman. Let's take a look at that O-line play up front because you can see number 41 coming. Demetrius Supus, with help from Stanley Bryant, stops the blitz. The blitz is stopped. Drew Tate has time.
40 yards to the Brandon native. Chris Bauman. Cornish. Not much there off the right side as he spikes the ball. No gain on the play.
I'm not sure what John Cornish is so upset about.
Well, he gets 7 on every carry, and he didn't that time.
I guess. I mean, I know the expectation is success on every play, but
injured Alouette defensive lineman Marquez Morel getting attention. Just under 9.5 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. And for Tate to the Stamps. Matt Walter in the running back. Landon Talley to his screen. And Kenny Ingram nails him. Going west instead of north.
One too many moves back into the middle. Often receivers on these hitch screens want to get maybe one or two shakes, come in and then break down the field, but one too many, and you're right, Kenny Ingram, pretty good hit.
One of the newcomers, many new faces in this Alouette defense. So Rene Paredes comes in, looking at a 32-yarder. And it's good. Stamps with 38. Well, he just made a field goal, but he doesn't look very happy, and we wondered if that 32-yarder split the uprights. All plays are reviewed. Tough to overturn on a field goal, though, isn't it?
Well, look how close it is. I mean, tough to tell when you're behind with this perspective when exactly that football was outside the post, but he shook his head the whole way off, thinking he missed it.
There's Trent Guide. Really haven't had that extra surge on special teams that Mark Trestman was looking for with a different group back there. And it's been a tough day for Anthony Calvillo. Calvillo and the Alouettes are looking at their 5th consecutive loss over 2 years. They lost the last 3 of the regular season. That memorable 52-44 overtime loss in the Eastern Semi against Hamilton, and an uncharacteristic start for a team that usually comes out of the gate quickly. That got knocked down.
Well, you know, and it's a good point, Chris, because when you think about that semifinal game for Montreal, it wasn't the offense that was a concern. And when you score 40-plus points, you expect to win. Their defense had gone through so many injuries, they couldn't hang on, and Hamilton goes and beats them. So, you know, Mark Trestman, I don't think for a second thought with his veterans and his leaders coming in that it was going to be offense that would be his issue. But again, I think he'll be the first to congratulate the Calgary defense for the way they played, or at least acknowledge it.
2nd and 10 after the knockdown by Torrey Davis. And that pass for Whitaker is incomplete. Malik Jackson was in the hip pocket of Brandon Whitaker. But what a game it was. Not a great memory for the Alouettes, but it was a spectacular afternoon at Olympic Stadium. Kevin Glenn now a backup for Calgary with a touchdown pass to Chris Williams, and they just kept trading back and forth until that incompletion in overtime that sent Hamilton on to the Eastern Final.
Kevin Glenn may be warming up. It's almost time for maybe Kevin Glenn to get some reps at 38-10.
Larry Taylor. And up to about the 34-yard line. And there is Kevin Glenn getting set to come in to finish up. Or is he? No, this is a new... no, Glenn's going to stay on the sidelines. We've seen this throughout the game. Dave Dickinson likes to have a huddle on the sidelines to start a series. And out comes Drew Tate, and he's going to keep going.
Yeah, I'm not sure with that quick 2-and-out for Montreal that maybe Kevin Glenn didn't have enough time to even warm up there.
In trouble with that. Chucked that away, and it was nearly intercepted. Seth Williams gets a hand on it. It's a couple of tough snaps for Tate today.
Yeah, and
John Gott, the newcomer at center.
And John Gott's going to get an earful in that huddle. He's going to get reminded that they got to get the ball down so that the quarterback has a chance.
Ventrell Jenkins was bearing down, and Tate has a word for his center. The Lethbridge product, who's been battling concussions, and check that. That's Mark DeWitt.
And that's maybe why. There's some backups in there. God had some concussion issues.
Tate rolls and may take off. He does. Lots of room there, and he'll step out at the 45. It's a first down.
John Gott started the game, didn't go down. I didn't see him go down at all to injury. It might just be to rest him up while with this game in hand. But Mark DeWitt gets a chance out of the University of Calgary to go in there and play, and he looked a little rusty getting in there in his first couple snaps. The first one was high and wide. That one was hot in the shotgun.
First and 10. Cornish. They've done a better job of putting the clamps on John Cornish in this second half. Pretty good day for Drew Tate, though.
Yeah.
He said he didn't see the field well in the preseason. He's been on target today. Not the big play offense that we were used to with Henry Burris. But boy, he's been effective, hasn't he?
Yep.
Now Lewis coming across and takes that short jump pass, and he gets upended short of the first down. So 11 catches for Nick Lewis.
And the only reason he didn't hurdle there, because once again a defender has to go down low and chop him down rather than try and take him on high. And the only reason that he didn't hurdle the tackler there for the Alouettes was because he was going towards the sideline and didn't have his shoulders down the field. 11 catches. Big Nick is ready for the start of the season.
Rob Maver, a good boot. That sends Devine back to his 6. And Devine up across the 15-yard line. And now Mark Trestman with 5 minutes to go. He's going to keep going back to his veteran quarterback, seeing if he can get some traction in advance of next week's game against Winnipeg.
Well, yeah, I think that's part of it. You know, part of the thought process for him had to be get him back out there. We don't want to wave the white flag just yet. And maybe they need the reps. That's part of the process. But you know, Mark Trestman will tell you that in his first couple years in the CFL, you know, the last 5 minutes, the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game was what he learned was so different. You can do a lot of damage in 5 minutes in the CFL.
Hand off to Whitaker. Charleston Hughes is there. And there's a good defensive play by Morley. Safety last year. He's moved up to the cover linebacker, the Sam linebacker spot, and he makes a strong play against the run.
With help from Charleston Hughes, who's going to string it out here along the line of scrimmage. And the key on a play like this is just that, is to make the running back keep his shoulder pads towards the sideline, never get his momentum going north and south, and allow the rest of the teammates to get there. That's what Charleston Hughes did, and Demetrius Morley made the tackle.
He was in my top 50.
Yeah, he was in mine too. I don't know who didn't vote for him because everyone's saying you.
He was number 51. There's Whitaker, nice shift, but Jawan Simpson says enough of that and tosses him down at the 15. Well, all the questions in the preseason were about this defense, and there a lot of answers so far today.
Oh, they look great. I think that's the story. There's the new defensive line coach Devon Claybrooks, who was roommates of Charleston Hughes a year ago, and real good friends, and now is in charge and the boss of Hughes.
Saw him in the restaurant last night. I said, "How you doing, coach?" And he did a double take. I don't think he's used to being called coach yet.
Boy, they played outstanding tonight.
Sean White, high kick. It's going to bounce out at the Alouette bench with 3.5 minutes to go. And now the Calgary pre-series huddle in the sideline. It looks like Kevin Glenn is the man being surrounded.
Mission accomplished for Drew Tate. You know, a bad taste in his mouth, I'm sure, from that playoff game in Edmonton where he started but did not finish. Not a great preseason, but Drew Tate, 38 on the board against Montreal Alouettes.
He doesn't mind this hook.
Not at all. This is the way he would have drawn it up.
So the veteran Glenn goes to work, and he's got Chris Bauman Well, tie-cat connection there. Glenn to Bauman. And another first down into Montreal territory.
So there's the final numbers. Just 1 yard shy of that magic 300 mark. I know there's one throw he'd like back. That's one interception. That one to Dwight Anderson. I think he'd like that throw back, but other than that, pretty good night.
3-minute warning to the benches with Calgary in control. Back, the Blue Bombers and the Alouettes. Live coverage from Montreal gets underway at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Well, a team from the East is going to win that game. It's been a...
Boy, all the talk was about a power shift in the Canadian Football League to the East. Guess what?
Not so fast.
A sweep for the West in week 1.
You know, almost... This was maybe the Calgary Stampeders' best signing or best move in the offseason, to get Kevin Glenn as an insurance policy in that just-in-case scenario with Drew Tate, whether by injury or just a young guy who goes through some struggles.
Second down, Glenn to the sidelines, gets Robbie Bryant. Another first down, Bryant punished after the catch, but holds on.
It's a long season and you never know, so your 1 and 2 quarterbacks are so important. And then you can even get to number 3, and this year it's going to be Bo Levi Mitchell. Plays with tremendous confidence, and won that, as I mentioned earlier, that number 3 spot, beating out Brad Sinopoli.
Couple of number 3s look good in the preseason. Mitchell, Drew Willie in Saskatchewan, Trevor Harris in Toronto. Fake inside, and number 12 for Nick Lewis on the day puts him over 100 yards for the 26th time in his career. Pretty good debut for Nick Lewis Nation.
Well, the focal point of this offense, he and John Cornish. And for Drew Tate, my conversation with John Hufnagel yesterday, he said, this is what I want Drew Tate to do. Distribute the football. Don't overthink it. Get the football in the hands of the playmakers.
Now hand off to the Calgary Dino product, Matt Walter. And a strong run there by Walter. 3-time Canada West All-Star out of Bishop O'Byrne High School here in Calgary. And boy, he took off with a little authority there, didn't he?
You know, good for him, because, you know, you think back to that preseason game we did, Chris, with the Edmonton Eskimos here in Calgary, and his first touch, Matt Walter fumbled, and he, you know, when you're a rookie and you're trying to make the team, you know, you think one little mistake. I'm sure there was some anxious moments for him around cut-down day, and he stays on the roster, stays involved. Injury to LaMarcus Coker. He gets on the roster for game 1, and that was a nice run.
12-yard run. Let's see if he can punch it in. Nailed it about the 5-yard line. There's Brouillette on the tackle. Setting up second down. Our game story is brought to you by Mr. Lube. Get top to bottom maintenance and take good care.
That was a good game by Keenan McDougal. Just one time he was victimized on a crossing route by Brian Bratton, I believe it was. But a pretty good game by that Calgary defense, and that's been the story for me.
Please put 1:05 on the game clock. 1:05.
And we could have put a maple leaf or 2 up on the game story.
Yeah, absolutely.
In this one.
Timer.
John
Please
Cornish, over 100 all-purpose yards, just shy of 100 yards rushing.
Brouillette taken to the sidelines as they reset the clock.
Keenan McDougal and safety was on the board and had that fumble recovery, and also his first start in the CFL, played real well. I mean, that's the type of game you want. A couple of big plays. Sure, there'll be mistakes, but if you're not talked about other than to point out the fact that you're new at the safety spot, you're playing well.
Now Matt Walter would like to get in the scoring line. 2nd and 5. He's got the football, cut back and down to about the 2. Be 3rd down. Fans here want them to go for it.
Well, you know, you could
stay out there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the 3 points isn't going to make a big difference. You'd rather have the clock come off the clock anyway, or the time come off the clock, I should say.
3rd and 2 for a touchdown. And the Calgary product in behind Kevin Glenn. Will he be the man with the ball? He is. Matt Walter. Goal line. Touchdown. Happy Canada Day, Matt Walter.
Did he break the plane? I'm not sure. Did the football break the plane?
A little scrap on the field, or at least a scrum. And you're right, some of the Alouettes were signaling he did not break the plane. Is he down? Looks like he just got a piece of the line. And that's all he needs.
Yep. Well, only because he spun backwards did I think that there was going to be question here, because then the ball is obviously in the wrong side for him.
C.J. Emery immediately signaled no.
But this was the best look. Down. He's not down by contact, Chris, with his hand. You see his hand touching? That's not down yet there. Now he is, but is that ball across the plane? I think it was. Just as he landed on his back.
So proud of you, dog. That was awesome.
Thanks, There we go. Punch it in.
4 touchdowns by Canadians in the game if this stands.
The play is under review by the command center.
And I didn't want to take anything away. Every scoring play this year will be reviewed anyway. I certainly didn't want to take anything away from the moment for Matt Walter.
Well, he did leap over the pile, but if some Alouette touched him in midair, then he is down by contact. So is there contact anywhere by an Alouette there as he lands?
Well, and does the ball cross the plane before he lands?
Yeah.
Because the hand does not constitute, you're allowed to put your hand down. It'll be his back when it hits.
So let's freeze there on contact, and is the football breaking the plane or not?
Yeah, that's not the, didn't want the check mark there. I wanted to get the line there, but now if the elbow there is down by contact, this will be interesting.
After review, the player's elbow was down prior to the ball breaking the plane of the goal.
Okay.
Therefore, he's down on the 1-yard line. There's a turnover on downs. We also have 2 penalties, an unnecessary roughness penalty and an objectionable conduct penalty against Calgary. It's first down on the 26 for Montreal.
So no Canada that time.
No. Too bad for Matt Walter. I mean, that's taking a moment away, and unfortunate, but I think they got the call right. The hand is not down, but the elbow is. And when we froze it that perfect time, you could see that the ball had not crossed the plane when the elbow touched. We'll show you one more time, but the hand is okay. That's fine, but then now that elbow, and there's the line there, and you could see that football is just behind it.
Missed it by that much. Adrian McPherson at quarterback for the Alouettes, and they continue to stifle Brandon Whitaker, and it's been a big day for Juwan Simpson and his mates as they run off the clock. A guy who missed 5 games last year with a knee injury looks like he's in full flight.
Yeah, he is, and he's the heart and soul of that defense. And you know, I've said this many times, but competition pushes a player like nothing else, and he had competition in camp. Robert McCune was pushing him. He was released. Joe Lobendon, still around, it was also pushing the former Winnipeg Blue Bomber, and it was a battle in training camp, and he came out of it on top, and his play is reflection of how that competition pushed him.
4 teams in the West, 1-0. 4 teams in the East, 0-1. Mark Trestman's Alouettes come in here and they get caught in a stampede. 38-10 the final as we wrap up the Canada Day weekend of CFL action. So long, everybody. SportsCenter is next.